Hello, today we are going to start with writing session, writing task 2, latest writing task 2 essay related to the IELTS exam. So we will write together. I'll be explaining each and everything. First of all, let us take the question. The question of IELTS latest essay is competitiveness is considered a positive quality for people in most societies. How does competitiveness affect individuals? Is this a positive or development? So, is this a positive or negative development? First of all, we'll be focusing on the question first of all. So, the question says that competitiveness is to compete. Compete means to say, to think that what is my position, whether I am first, whether I am last. So, work on it in order to be the number one. So here the question is saying that in most of the cases it is considered a positive quality, that it is considered as a desired quality in most societies. So how does competitiveness affect individuals? So in this essay we have a two-part essay. So we, in order to score a very good band score, like let us say above 6 band, you need to address both the questions. So let us work on the question type first of all, because you will do the brainstorming and write point on the basis of this. Okay, now the first part of the question is, how does competitiveness affect individuals? So what is the effect of competitiveness? So a person, is the person feel under pressure, he feels demotivated, or does competitiveness help him to grow and perform better? So we'll be doing the brainstorming together. The second part of the question is it a positive or negative development? Please take into consideration that it is a type of a question in which two essays are combined. So we'll be working on this separately. In the body paragraph 1, we'll be addressing what is the effect, how does it affect individuals. And in the body paragraph 2, or you can also say body paragraph 3, we'll be working on whether it is a positive or negative development. Finally we will have conclusion. Okay, now first of all, let us start with the introduction first of all. So in the exam, when you get a writing task to an essay to write, so from the mindset of band 8 scorers, I have seen that the first thing they do is they write introduction. So what happens, you are required to write at least 250 words for an essay. So if you are done with the introduction, you are satisfied, you the pressure decreases, the pressure on your mind eases, in the sense that now you are sure that you have completed your introduction, and the ideal length being 50 to 70 words, and once you are done with it, you can say that you have completed about 30% of your essay. And not to forget that we can do it before brainstorming. We need not to do the brainstorming at first. You can easily write an introduction without even doing the brainstorming. Of course, we need to choose a side, like here in this case we need to select that whether it is a positive or negative. So you can go in either way, it depends upon your way of thinking. So let us start with it. So in the introduction we have two lines. The first line is the question itself but with synonyms, that is without changing the meaning. We will be writing the same line by changing the words, by replacing the words in context. So let us first of all see what are the words here. So for competitiveness, we can simply write competitiveness is competition. Competition is considered. Okay, is considered, so it is passive here. So instead of consider, we can say that competition is. So we can write it, we can simply write it consider. We'll form a line, then you will understand. We'll be forming a line here. A positive quality, so here positive we can say desired. For quality we can say trait, very important. For people in most societies. Okay, so let us form the first line here using the words we have written here. So in most societies, we'll bring it to the front. So we will say, we can say that in majority of societies, competition or people consider competition as a desired trait. So we have formed the first line here. We have used our vocabulary knowledge to write the first line. So here we are done with the first line of band score 7 or 7 plus. In majority of societies, people consider competition as a desired trait. So next we'll be writing the thesis statement, which is a second line in the introduction paragraph. So we need to put here two things, like how does individual competitiveness affect individuals. Here also we will use our vocabulary knowledge. So we can say that we can write the second line. In this essay, I will explain. Okay, how? For how we can write the way in which. The way in which. I will explain the way in which. Okay, we have already talked about competitiveness, so we'll be using a pronoun here. So we'll use it, in which, the way in which it affects an individual. So the way in which it affects an individual. Okay, and we also need to address that whether it is a positive or negative development. So for positive and negative development, for development we can say outcome. Okay, for positive, that is favorable. So for negative you can say unfavorable. So our line here becomes, so the second thing we'll be doing here is we'll be forming a compound sentence here. So for a compound sentence, always remember, in a compound sentence we have independent clause, comma, conjunction, and an independent clause. So here we have an independent clause, we'll put comma and, okay, and I am going to, and we can write simply say, and whether it is a favorable or unfavorable outcome. So until now we have written our full introduction. So introduction contained two lines. The first one is the first line and the second one is the thesis statement. So after this you need to leave a blank and we'll be starting here with the BP1. So this is just for your knowledge I am writing, otherwise you need not to. Okay, now we will do the brainstorming here. Please keep this thing in mind that for brainstorming, so first of all we need to study, we need to think about that what are the effects of competition. So some of the effects of the competition are that it puts pressure on mind, that is stresses the individual. And the another thing we can say that it develop the zeal to compete. So this is sufficient. If we are able to explain these 2 points, we can score a very good band score. So we will start with the body paragraph 1 and we will explain these 2 points in detail. So we will start by leaving a line, and here we are going to explain the effects of this competitiveness on individuals. So let us say, we can say that due to competition. So these two are totally contrary points, because stress is a negative thing and zeal to compete is a positive thing. So we can say that due to competition, a person can feel stressed and, or we can say, or develop a zeal to compete. So here we are done with the first line of your body paragraph number 1. Now we will be explaining how a person feel stressed. Okay, we can say that on the one hand, excessive, so excessive is more than required, excessive competition can develop a pressure on an individual to perform, on an individual to perform better or we can say that a pressure on an individual to outperform all other participants. So we have said that on the one hand, excessive competition can develop a pressure on an individual to outperform all other participants. As a result, he may start feeling nervous instead of enjoying the learning and performing process. Now we will be explaining develop the zeal to compete. At the same time, it is possible for an other individual to develop a zeal to compete and gain motivation to transcend the boundaries and deliver his best performance. So we have said that. So here transcend the boundaries. So transcend the boundaries. Transcend means cross. Cross the boundaries. Transcend the boundaries or cross the boundaries. So we are done with the body paragraph 1 here. Now we will address whether it is a positive or negative development. So we'll simply be elaborating the same points here. So it depends upon the person who is competing, his mindset. So let us write for BP2. So depend upon his mindset, okay, that how he conceive the situation. Okay, now we will move on to the body paragraph 2 here, very important. Okay, so we'll be working on now whether it is a positive or negative development. As the question says that do you think it is a positive or negative development, so we can simply start with that according to me or in my view or in my opinion. So we will write here in my view it is a positive development. So we'll be explaining here how it is a positive development. So we'll be explaining here how competition improves the performance, as well as initially competition may initiate the excretion of, let us say, fear hormone, but with the passage of time the person tries to adjust and counteract the situation. So in my view it is a positive development. So in a competition a person remains motivated as he knows that he has to perform better than others. So we have said that in my view it is a positive development. In a competition, a person remains motivated as he knows that he has to perform better than others. Now we'll continue this here. Now we continue your body paragraph 2 here. We have written that he knows that he has to perform better than others. So we will include an example here. For example, a student focuses fully on his test when he knows that his performance is important to pass the exam and get promoted to the next class. Now what we will do is we will also bend the what we have said, the stress. So we can say that a competition can prove to be beneficial for those who feel stressed. Initially, when a competition starts, a person feels stressed, and this releases the fear hormone. But if he continues with the task, it is possible that he may learn to face his fears, face his fear. As a result, he performs better in a competition than when he gives an individual performance. So what we have seen is that we started by explaining both the positive and negatives, but by the BP2, by coming near to the conclusion, we have proved that it is positive, as we have cancelled, we have counteracted the negative point as well. So finally we will do with the conclusion here. We are done with the body paragraph 2 also. So for conclusion, what I recommend is highly is that you go with your thesis statement. In thesis statement, you have taken a stand that it is a positive development. So always give it a positive, give it a positive shape. So we will start with in conclusion. Competition helps an individual to grow, to counter stress, to gain motivation. Competition helps an individual to grow, to counter stress, to gain motivation. So, it is a positive development. Okay, we are done with the writing task to an essay. Don't forget to subscribe this channel, and if you are getting value, hit the like button. Thank you.